What's up? It's Spitten Image, and you're listening to the Home Invasion Show. Ottawa Hip Hop, let's go.
It is what it was. It's Livin Large of the Home Invasion Show. I'm hanging with my man, Spitten Image. Now see, Spitten Image, what's happening, bro? What's going on?
How you been, man?
Man, I've been all right. Yeah, right, man. I was just about to say, when I first saw you perform was up at Radio Onyx in November of 2019, right?
Yes, sir.
And that was like, in actuality, it's only been like, what, 2 years?
Yeah, seems like a lifetime.
I was just about to say, man, it feels like a lifetime ago because around that time, there was no such thing as social distancing. There was no such thing as, lockdowns or state of emergencies or anything like that, you know? But ever since then, I've been trying to get you on the show, and it didn't happen. But here we are now, you know?
Yes, sir.
Mask free, sanitizer free, and here we are chopping it up with Spitten Image. What's going on, homie?
Not much, man. Just surviving like the rest of us, you know?
I hear that. How's the music thing been going on with you?
Good, man, good. We're about to release Arrival August 1st. It got pushed back a little bit, but been bumping on me and that Matt Dave track, so pretty stoked about it.
That's what's up. All right. Now, so tell the listeners who you are. Just give them a brief history lesson on yourself, brother.
Yeah, man. Spitten Image, Ottawa cat. Been doing my thing for just about a decade now. Been representing Ottawa hip hop just as long. Started in a group called Live Feed with a high school homie of mine and a guy we used to work with, and just started recording, and we're kind of like a duo rap group. And then homie DJ Selected Gallus was the DJ on the 1 and 2, so we were able to do one mixtape together and then kind of, started doing our own thing.
Right, okay. And you were just talking about your new album, Arrival. Why don't you tell the listeners how that album came about?
Oh, man. So like anything else, right? I released my sophomore album, Detour, just before February of 2020. And, like any artist, we're all thinking like, man, we can't do shows, we can't go perform, we can't really do anything in public, right?
Right.
So we were just like thinking, I was like, well, maybe just make another album. But like, you forget, man, like how much work and like effort it takes to craft an album. But here we are like a year later, and it's ready to go, man.
That's cool. You said there was a couple of delays. You want to get into that?
Yeah, so there was, it was originally supposed to be July 1st, but me and the label pushed it back. Just more marketing purposes and giving it a little bit more time. We're going to be releasing another single probably sometime in July, and then we'll have the album August 1st. And then there'll be another visual single like right after the release.
All right. Yeah, just keep us in the loop, but we'll share it up as much as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, for sure, man.
All right. Now, see, again, the album's called Arrival. You want to tell us the significance behind the title?
Yeah, man. So, like, my debut album was called The Road Album.
Okay.
And it was just like, a title of like my life choice. Like, this is the road I'm choosing to do hip hop and to do music, right?
Right.
So that was my first album. The sophomore album I dropped, Detour, it was a 5-track EP, so it's kind of like already playing on the road I'm on. Like, I might have strayed from my path and stuff, but like I'm still here doing my thing.
Most up.
And this third album is called Arrival. So it's kind of like the final album of that little trilogy. And it's just basically signifying like who I've become as an artist, who I've become as a man, where I am in life, stuff like that, man. Like, so I thought it was a perfect title to name my like third EP, or like my third album, Arrival.
That's dope. Yeah, I find that's something that's lost in the music industry nowadays. Because like in the 90s, you had stuff that are interwoven, interconnected like that. Albums, or even like songs, Like you weave through a skit, it just weaves right through into the next track. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Because like back then, music was made to be listened to straight up from track 1 all the way to track whatever it may be. Nowadays, it's all about the single life, you know what I mean?
All singles, yeah.
Yeah. That's dope, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. It's and like I have on my new album Arrival, like I have a skit, and we just call it like Birth of Hip Hop, and it's just going back to like how hip hop started. But to build on your point, like I'm a big fan of DMX.
Word up.
And
Rest
like
in
the whole
peace.
Damien series, you know, like 1 and 2 and 3.
Right.
You know, and like that's what hip hop is missing a little bit, is like the creativity on a bigger scale than just a song.
Most def. The bigger picture.
Yeah, like Classified self-explanatory album.
Right.
I believe. Like he has all those like choose your own adventure.
Okay.
Like to me, like that's super creative, bro.
Right. That's what's up. All right. What was the recording process like for your new album, brother?
It was hectic, man. I have about 14 tracks on Arrival, and a couple didn't make it, so we were probably recording like 16, 17 tracks.
Right.
So I was booking like 3-4 hours at a time when I'd go, and honestly, man, like I'm a big believer of try to spend more of your studio time creating the perfect mix. Like I would get my bars out as quick as I could, as best as I could, clean, you know?
Right.
But then I would want to spend as much time on the mix to clean everything up, to make it sound crisp. You know, like I can only do so much.
Definitely.
My engineer and everything like that, man, like they put a lot of work and time and effort into it. So it's like I want to be there when I'm hearing from rough to a final mix, and then obviously to master.
You want to be a part of the process. Okay.
Exactly, man. So I started at the State Platinum Studio. Actually, I recorded my last record on Detour there. So I talked to the engineer, and I was just like, bro, like, do you think I could do my whole album here, like, if everything works out, right? So we started in their old studio, but then they built a brand new one. So that kind of put the recording of Arrival on hold for a couple months. It was from like December to March.
Right.
So it kind of got delayed a little bit there too, but the new studio, man, is beautiful. Shout out to State Platinum Records, salute to Bully Zone, salute to Twigs, my engineer, and Burl, and the whole State Platinum team.
There you go. Has COVID delayed anything in terms of like recording and stuff?
COVID? Not really in terms of recording, in terms of shooting videos.
Most definitely.
Yeah, with all like the lockdowns, bro, and everything like that too, like it's kind of tough to get everything together.
I hear that.
So that's why we kind of pushed Arrival back. We need some visuals, and they're coming. But yeah, that's kind of why it got pushed back. That's the big reason why.
I hear that. Yeah, because, with the whole lockdown restrictions, and they're limiting the amount of people indoors and stuff like that, I thought, maybe that would put a damper on recordings, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we were lucky, man. Like, I'm a hardworking cat in the studio.
Yeah.
I literally go alone.
Okay.
And I work every single minute I'm there. So we were kind of like going like appointments only, and like kind of like one at a time when we were in these severe lockdowns. So that's why we were able to finish a lot of Arrival before they built a brand new studio. And then after the studio was built, I just finished the album there.
How many tracks on the album?
I got 14 and a skit.
14 and a skit. All right, so out of all the tracks on that album,
15.
Out of all of those tracks on the album, which one is your favorite?
Good question, bro. I'm pretty impartial to the track with Matt Day.
Okay.
Just for me, man, like he's one of my favorite rappers, and like what I grew up like listening to and stuff like that. So to do a record with him was a hip hop goal crossed off the list for sure.
For sure.
I'm also impartial to like my daughter's song.
Right.
Obviously that one's from the heart. But yeah, I would have to say the game of hip hop 4 Monsters.
Okay.
And that's featuring Bully Zone and Cat Hut.
All right.
Yeah, you guys are going to hear that soon enough.
Yeah, we'll be on the lookout, definitely, for those two, for sure.
bro, just look in your inbox. It will be there.
There you go. Goddamn. All right, so what did you do different on your new album, Arrival, than your last album, Detour, brother?
Well, good question again, man. For like Detour was like a 5-track EP. It was just a little punch in your face. Here we go. This is what we're doing. But Arrival, I don't want to sound corny when I say this, but Arrival was like a piece of me left in the studio.
For sure.
It was basically more like I was very focused on every song I was writing.
Right.
Like every word, every line, every punchline, like everything, man, had to have a meaning and had to make sense. Not like no filler.
Right.
So that's definitely a big thing I did on Arrival. I wanted to make sure too I had new, fresh ideas and that everything flowed together as kind of like a story. And like you'll hear, man, when it's released, like there's an intro song, there's a little skit, and then like the last song of the album, it kind of fits perfectly to end it.
Right.
You know, so it was like we were saying too earlier, man, creating something more than just records on a CD or like, you know, an album, whatever.
For sure. I was just about to say, man, I wouldn't call that corny. I'd call that the essence of real art. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to real art, that's when you put everything you got, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what's up, brother. What can the listeners expect on your new album, Arrival?
Oh, man, heavy beats, bro. I was very selective on my beats, and I think like every beat I chose is like a banger.
Right.
So you can expect like heavy beats. Also like old school hip hop, obviously it's what I do. Some beautiful vocals from an amazing singer that I have 2 records with. Shout out to Kat. I got records with Boogie Zone. So definitely a different part of me and more of me at the same time, if that makes sense. Like more of like who I am.
Yeah. So the growth.
Exactly, man. Like I'm older family man now, you know, like we were talking about it earlier.
So to tie it all back to the beginning, you said you were in a group Live Feed with Tranquil Flow and DJ Selector Gallus, but you had to part ways. Any chance of y'all getting back together and doing it one last time?
Bro, I'm telling you right now, I still have Tranquil Flow to get on at least one record.
Right.
So I was like, dude, just like bit of 16, because this guy, like, he can still write. When we're like having a couple of drinks at the cottage or chilling, you know, before all this, we just like spit freestyles all night.
For sure.
And like this, yeah, like this guy can still put it down.
Man, you need to like record it and just drop it. The freestyle sessions, you know?
yeah, for sure. So I'll have to see, man. Maybe I can squeeze him in, like get a 16 and be like Live Feed returns for at least one record.
For sure, because all the people that were riding with you guys since day one, you know, nostalgia. That's you know, that's number one right now. You know, so if you come out with that, that'll blow everybody's minds. You're taking it all the way back.
Oh, dude, people still hound me for the old Live Feed mixtape.
It's crazy. So you've been doing it for a little more than a decade strong, and we always celebrate the positives and either neglect or overlook the negatives. With that being said, in your experience and longevity in the game, what have you seen change for the negative?
Mentorship. A lot of these young cats, man, they're super dope and stuff, but they might be like scared to like reach out to like the vets and stuff like that. And for me, man, like I came up and like I got to like chop it up with Aspect, chop it up with Billy Mood, chop it up with, you know, Flight Distance.
Right.
You know, all those veteran cats, man, that like kind of help mold me, you know, like who I am. Looking at guys like Swisha T, like his work ethic's incredible, bro. Like shout out to Swisha, like as always. But I think like learning and like taking advice and like knowing that you have to put in work to get things.
For sure.
A lot of these guys, man, like for like shows and stuff, like they feel they have 10,000 views on a video and they should get the show automatically, but you can't bring out people.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Like, you know, and like I understand, man, kids are making fucking sick records.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to be able to put in a little bit of groundwork, you know, and like promoters see that, man. Like it's the way the game's played and the way like Ottawa hip hop is, man. You got to put in your work to get things.
For sure.
And like respect to them, man. There's a lot of young guys that are like putting in a lot of work and stuff. It's just like you have questions, man. Like reach out and like connect with your community and connect with other artists.
But to me, it's like yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's you.
I was saying, yeah, like you can create something incredible, man, when you reach out to some artists. And it's hard too, right? Like my management always tells like charge for features and stuff like that, but a lot of these guys are my homies that like, you know, like we're in this scene together and it's loud, man. I'd rather see what we create than like grabbing $100 from your pocket.
I hear that.
Yeah, man.
I was just about to say that the way the game is nowadays, I feel like there's a big ageism thing going on in hip hop. So like if you're old, then you're considered, you know, out of touch or irrelevant. You know, instead of being celebrated for your work, instead of being celebrated for what you've done for the culture, you're kind of pushed aside for being that old man or whatever.
It's the only music genre that does that.
Most definitely. Exactly. See, when you look at...
like rock and roll.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones are about 80.
Yup. And they're still putting on shows like the Young Cats.
Still killing it better than a lot of bands.
Exactly. And they're being respected for it, not being talked down or downplayed or shoved to the side.
And that's the thing is that's what hip hop's always been for some reason. And like it was back in the day when, you know, like the old cats used to battle and stuff like that. But for me, man, like even doing a song with Master Ace. Master Ace is like a legend in the game. Stuff like that, and
Most
he does his thing. But like, you go to these new kids, man, and like, they might not have a clue.
For sure.
You know, and like the same with like the Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly battle.
Yeah.
He's making fun of him because he's old.
Yeah, you know.
You know, like you should celebrate longevity in hip hop,
especially with some of the lifestyles these people be having. You know, it's like here today, gone tomorrow. So it's like we should celebrate them while they're alive, rather than once they pass, all the people that were talking shit about them and shoving them to the side for being old or whatever, coming out with R.I.P. songs. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly, man. You know, like the industry and a lot of things are fake. You know, like you see that like Biggie song, right? You're nobody till somebody kills you.
Right.
That song and that title, man, is like, dude, like Pop Smoke was dope and he was coming up, but like, again, look how much love he got after he passed.
Yeah.
And like, that's sad, man. And like, don't get me wrong, but it's like, you have like these old vets, man, and it's like one day they're not going to be around and not going to be in the game and in the industry, and it's like you're going to miss their music, man. You know,
For
like
sure.
You should celebrate the people that came before.
Right.
You know, you don't have to like dick ride or anything like that, man, but like you can do your own music. You can do whatever type of hip hop and rap you want to do, man. Whatever that is, like, do you. But like, if it wasn't for any of these people, man, like, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
And especially too, man, like I'm a white guy in hip hop.
Right.
Yes, like that's very more accepted now. But what I said too is like being that person, I study the game more.
For sure.
And I appreciate the things that came before that allows me to do what I do.
Respectively, you walked in with that. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Yeah. And that's what separates the real from the fake.
Yeah, man, like that's just me, man. You know, like from Big Daddy Kane to Eminem to Jay-Z to, you know, I grew up in the 50 Cent G-Unit era, you know, like
Right.
that's when, you know, like all the albums like I listened to, man, growing up. Like I used to steal my sister's CDs. My older sister had like all like the good rap CDs. Like I used to steal them and like bump them in my little boombox.
Yeah. I feel like even the grind is different now. You know, back then it was all about the money and shit. Now, like you said, it's all about the clicks and the views and the likes.
It's a drug, man.
Yeah. So you can be...
It's a drug to social media, and like you said, going viral is what you do now. You don't just like grind out selling shows and doing a million, you know, that obviously helps, but
yeah.
These kids are like literally doing one song and getting like 100,000 views.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of it sounds the same to me. I know that sounds like an old head, but just do what you gotta do, and it's dope, man. But it's like, overnight, they're celebrities.
Yeah, but they still broke.
It's all an illusion, man.
You know? I mean, having 10,000 views is cool and all, but that don't pay no fucking rent. That don't pay no...
Bro, I can show you my, like, deposit checks from, like, Spotify and, like, Apple Music and all that. And
yeah.
Nearly 100,000 streams and, like...
Right.
It's all good, man. I do it for the love, but with no shows and stuff, like, that cuts the revenue.
Most definitely. Since we're talking about shows, back then, artists would make their most money from doing shows and selling merchandise. Nowadays, is it still the same?
I mean, for some artists, probably. You know, like, Drake's probably getting what, like 50 million a show? You know, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
But yeah, compared to his streams, like he's still making big money for his streams. But
Yeah.
I still think for some artists, like big artists, touring
Let's
is
set those
still the way it goes.
let's set those big artists aside and focus on an up and coming artist such as yourself, or an artist that's in the game again such as yourself. When it comes to you, do you make most of your money from doing live shows and selling merch, or is it from the Apple streams or like the YouTube views and all of that?
It's a tie almost between like physical like sales, like merch, like you said, and like doing shows.
Right.
Like doing shows and getting revenue from tickets and performing and bringing, being your name and stuff like that. And yeah, like selling t-shirts and like album downloads, whatever,
Yeah.
That definitely pays more than a Spotify check, like it's been okay, like to be honest, man, it's okay for me. It's not great, but it's something that it's like, oh, okay.
Word up. Is it something for you to rely on though?
You can't really rely on that, man, till you're like Drake level.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool to push because everyone uses it, right? Everyone uses Spotify or Apple.
Right.
So it's tough, right? But like, my fan base has been pretty good, man, with like supporting me. Like a lot of people like will transfer me cash straight up, and I'll email them my album so that like nobody gets like my revenue share, but like me.
Yeah.
Right. So like it's nice too, and like Bandcamp's been pretty good too. They take a small percentage, but nothing crazy.
Right. When it comes to your new album, what's the preferred method of payment? Would you rather get the e-transfer straight up?
For that, man, probably like for most of the listeners, if you want to support, go to my Bandcamp, which is www.spittenimagemusic.bandcamp.com, and that's probably the best way instead of like just like 100 emails that I gotta add.
Yeah.
But it's more for like my like close personal people if they want to like fully support,
Word up.
But like Bandcamp, you can pay anything you want.
We'll leave the link down below for y'all. We'll do it up like that.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So what's next for Spitten Image? What you got planned in the future?
So obviously we're going to be dropping Arrival August 1st.
Okay.
And then basically I signed a record deal with St. Platinum, Shadow Bully Zone, and like the crew again. Like much love to those guys. And then probably after Arrival drops, man, some visuals, and then like back in the studio doing singles and continuously releasing music.
That's dope. Well, brother, I can tell you what I got planned for Spitten Image in the near future, and that's doing this interview face to face in a studio.
Yes.
Please. All of that shit.
Oh man, I look forward to it, dude. Like, this is cool chopping it up on the phone, but like I would love to be in the studio doing it.
Most definitely. The energy's definitely different.
Oh, 100%, man. 100%.
Goddamn. One last question, actually. I asked my artist friends this question, and asked you to get it on record, right?
Yep.
So with all of these shows now, because of COVID, everything's being streamed online. Like people would do a concert and it would be streamed online.
Yep.
As an artist, you usually feed off the energy from the audience, but because you're streaming it live and there's not really much of an audience, you're not really getting that energy. And I feel like people once they get used to a certain something, then that's it. There's no way that they're gonna change. Like, for example, video on demand now. Instead of releasing movies in theaters, they're releasing it on a streaming thing. So to me, it's like, when it comes to artists, and all of these artists are now doing their concerts online and no audience, once COVID is a thing of the past and you guys can perform in a live venue, do you think the audience are actually gonna come out? And if not, how are you going to get your energy from? How are you going to feed off the audience's energy if you're looking at a camera being streamed online?
I promise you, they'll be out. When you come to a Spitten Image show, man, it's an experience. And I'm going to make sure that, especially after COVID, we go bananas. And I think people, too, are pent up and they want to get out.
Most of.
I think the live stream thing is a good idea for a little bit, but you can't mimic an energy of a show when there's like 500 people just going nuts together.
For sure.
And I swear to God, I'm going to make that happen. And I can't wait to see what we're allowed to do soon.
Boom, there you go. Y'all heard it from my man Spitten Image. It was real nice having you. Album coming out August when?
August 1st.
August 1st, the very first day of August. That's when Arrival will be arriving, and y'all can catch it up like that. We're going to leave all the links down below, your Instagram, your Twitter, everything. Everything we're going to post it down below for ease of access and convenience. And we'll definitely have you back on the show.
Yes, man. I would love to chop it up after too, man. We'll figure out another date and we'll get into it.
Most definitely.
Thank you, man, so much. Shout out to Home Invasion Show. Much love.
My man, much appreciated. Stay safe, huh?
Later, G.
God bless.